In the last installment of the Rat Pedal Shootout, I am going to compare the American-made Proco Rat to the Boss MS-3 Rat Distortion. So my setup is going to be very similar to a previous video. So I'm going to put the Proco Rat into a loop on the MS-3, and then the ins and outs of the MS-3 are going to an effects loop on the HX Effects, and then that in turn is going to a Blue Guitar Amp 1, and then that's going to a 2x12 cab with a Vintage 30 with a mic around 2 inches from the cap edge. And I'm actually recording the audio into a Zoom Q8, and I'm using the Rode Video microphone on top of my Canon M50, and that's what you're seeing my face with right now. So as you can see from my iPhone screen and also the GoPro screen, you can see the settings on the pedal and also the settings on the screen. So I'm actually going to come off the camera and change the angle here. So you can see me playing from the Q8 and then more of the Boss MS-3 switching back and forth. Alright, so as far as the Boss MS-3, I have the internal rat on effects 1, which is right here, and that's on foot switch 2. So when you see me hit foot switch 2, you know that's the internal rat. And foot switch 3 is actually in loop 1, and that is the Proco Rat right here. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is go to edit and then enter. So that way you can actually see the settings on the screen, and then just know that when I turn 2 on and off, that's the internal rat, and 3 is the actual pedal. Alright, so here we go. This is going to be a low gain setting. And this is what the clean sound is on the Blue Guitar Amp 1. Alright, here's the internal rat. Alright, let's go back to 2. Alright, now there's 2 extra parameters that we really don't have on the physical pedal. And that is a tone, but it's not the same kind of filter that's on the Rat. So the tone is simply just adding highs or making it darker. If I go, counterclockwise here. Alright, so we can make it super bright or super dark, but it's really not doing the same thing as the filter knob on the Rat. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going to use my ear and try and get as close as I can. Alright, now if I feel like it's getting a little thin on the internal effect, there is a bottom parameter, so I can bring up some low end. And sometimes bringing up low end can also affect the mid-range a little bit. So that's another thing to consider. But let's keep the tone and bottom about where it is. And let's start messing with the gain now. So I'm going to bring the drive up to, let's say, 25. And let's go ahead and bring down the level. Let's go back to the pedal. So there's a pretty fine line on where the treble frequencies sit as far as the internal rat versus the actual pedal. And that's really what I'm trying to match the closest. I know I can match the gain pretty good, but it's really all about tone. And if you like a lot of bottom end on your distortion, you can definitely beef that up. If you want to make it brighter, you can do that as well. But I'm trying to get the exact same sound that's on the pedal. So let's go back to the actual pedal itself. See, that sounds way more scooped and definitely brighter. I still don't think it's exact, but I do like this sound on the internal effect on the Boss MS-3. It just has a good overall tonality, and I'd be perfectly fine using that. So let's bring up the drive even more. Let's go with the 40 on the dial here. So the more gain that I add, a lot more high end gets introduced as well. So I'm dialing back the tone just to kind of tame the high end a little bit. So there's something that happens on the upper end of the distortion on the actual pedal. It just gets really gritty and kind of muddy almost. And you can bring in some high end with the filter. Let me do that a little bit. Alright, let's go for that sound right there. Let's see what we can get. Alright, so it's not exact, but it's still a good tone. Alright guys, so that was the final shootout in this series. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about the HX Effects, Vermin Distortion, the Headrush Black Op, and the Boss MS-3 Rat. And do you have a preference? Which one do you thought sounded the best or sounded the closest to the actual pedal? And for me, I can pretty much get in the ballpark with any one of them. So if you own the HX Effects Headrush pedal board or gig board or the Boss MS-3, just know and have peace of mind that even though you may not have the actual physical pedal, that you can get a very convincing rat distortion sound out of your device. So this is what I do here on the channel. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And go ahead and click that bell so you'll be notified next time I release new content. I am Dr. Mcfarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.